This work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. Madam Clerk.
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this work session, regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was made by the posting on the bulletin boards in the municipal building, posted on the township's website, and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this work session, regular meeting would take place via WebEx at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilmember Ed Potasnik, if you could do the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. I invite you all to pray in your own way or to reflect, and I'll bow my head. Dear Heavenly Father, I ask that tonight you bring us together closer, that you give us strength, provide us with wisdom to have the knowledge necessary to conduct our work here on Township Council, to inspire us to trust in ourselves and to trust in others, to provide us with the conscience to do what is right, to ensure we are thinking of all of our people. I ask, and together we come together for your support for President Biden and the work he's doing at the federal level to support our needs here in New Jersey and our town of Franklin. The work he's doing overseas with Ukraine and Russia, a conflict that is seemingly escalating, to let cooler heads prevail and peace prevail. Think about the troops that sit in the trenches on the border, and also those who await any sort of escalation. I ask for your support for our governor, Phil Murphy, our hometown assemblyman, Joe Danielson, our hometown commissioner and commissioner director, Chanel Robinson. Grant us peace and strength during trying times and help us to inspire all those around us. I ask that in the name of our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Madam Master Clerk, calleth the roll.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois? Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Onijaka?
Yeah.
Council Member Potasnik?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Pruitt?
Here.
Councilwoman Udine?
Here.
Councilman Vasanella?
Here.
Councilman Wright?
You're muted, Councilman. At least we can't hear you. Okay, we couldn't hear you, Councilman Wright. I'm going to go on. Commendations and proclamations, we have none. It is now time for public session. Do we have a motion to open to the public?
So moved. To open public.
All in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are open to the public. Trying to bring up the list here. Any member of the public wishing to speak on any matter having to do with government, this is the time to do it. You'll be limited to 3 minutes, may only come up once, no yielding of time. Please state your name and address when you come up. Mr. McQueen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any member from the public, we ask to use the chat function, raise hand feature, or star 3 from your telephone. Again, any member from the public wishing to speak, use the chat function, raise hand feature, or star 3 from your telephone. Mr. Guy, you are unmuted.
Yes, how you doing? Benjamin Guy, 35 Patton Drive, Somerset, New Jersey. Was gonna ask the town 2 things. One is I know you're going into budgetary hearings going into next week. Will the proposed budgets be posted prior to it, or does it just get read next week? I think for the budgetary requests. That's more a question for Mr. Vornlocker, just so the public understands what we're going to be approving. The second portion is that during the budgetary hearings, are you guys going to be talking about money that came in from state and federal agencies that that might be still allotted from the budget, whether or not it's CARES Act money or anything else that we have to actually look at? The third point I want to ask is that this is just a general conversation for the mayor. When we're getting out of COVID restrictions, are we going back into normal business, or will there still be restrictions on businesses or anything else in the public sector as far as what we're going to be doing for the spring and summertime? Because whether or not we're going to be planning out Franklin Day or anything else, I would like to know those specific things so that the community knows exactly what they can and cannot do for restrictions going forward at all. Other than that, I don't think I have any comments at this specific time frame. Besides, I would just like to hear from some of the council if they can comment. I know that they can't, but how they felt about what happened in their backyard as far as what happened in Bridgewater during this period of time frame, and how they feel about the incident itself. So that is my time at this time frame.
Any other members from the public wishing to speak, we ask that you use the chat function, raise hand feature, or *3 from your telephone. Mr. Guy, if you could lower your hand, that would be helpful. Again, any member from the public wishing to speak, we ask to use the chat function, raise hand feature, or *3 from your telephone. Mr. Mayor, I do not see anybody else indicating they would like to speak at this time.
I agree. We have a motion to end public session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing public session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Checking one last time, seeing no one. The public session is closed. Council comments and reports. Councilman Oni Jaka is first on my screen.
Okay. Hi, Mayor. Let me turn off my light. Let me turn on my light. Yes. I had the privilege on Sunday to visit and they invited me, the countryside community in my ward. You know, constantly I've been meeting with them. But this time around, because of the snow, so we delayed our meetings. So last Sunday, they invited me to see some of their problems, you know, the issues they have within their area, which they pointed to me. Some of them include the lightning, the snow removal, the intersection of the rolling hills. So they have all these questions, and they need an answer from me. So what I did was I forwarded the questions to our township manager, who is currently looking at the questions and providing the answers for them. So Mayor, that is what I had for now. That is what I did for the weekend.
Thank you. Councilmember Ed Potasnik.
I have no comments this evening.
Thank you. You're my favorite so far. Councilman James Vasanella.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a public safety meeting. I think Councilman Pruitt will be giving us some feedback, readout on that. I attended the Central Jersey Housing Resource Center board meeting, which I'm on the board of, along with Commissioner Director Chanel Robinson. And we reviewed our yearly audit and the agency which services much, if not most, of Franklin's affordable housing and housing counseling needs is in very good shape, considering the traumatic years of COVID, and ended up doing quite a bit of service providing even during COVID, and the agency remains solid, intact financially to continue serving Franklin and many other communities in Central Jersey. We'll be having a land use meeting tomorrow night. So of course, we don't have any info on that. We'll report back on that at the next council meeting, Mayor. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Ambarasan, what continent are you on?
I'm sorry, our Hamilton Street meeting was canceled this month, so we'll be reporting on that also at the next meeting. We'll be having one early March. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ambarasan.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm still in India. It's 5:40 in the morning. You can probably hear some background noise with the birds chirping or the trucks going by the road. It's wonderful here, nice and warm. Anyway, I think I had a very brief update. Our HRC team visited the youth center and was very impressed by what they saw. And they'd be working with the recreation department to come up with some workshops for the facility to benefit the youth. And they are also deliberating or discussing how, if and how we could celebrate the holy festivals in town. That will be a new festival that we would look at. And then finally, I think their coordination with the Martin Luther King Foundation this year for the scholarship to students. Also, their annual breakfast gala is not going to be held this year due to COVID. They'll reschedule it next year. And then other than that, the planning board meeting got canceled last one. I did attend a financial oversight. I believe Mayor would report that out. And lastly, but not the least, there was a celebration of high school students. We celebrated the International Mother Language Day last Saturday. A bunch of high school students participated and spoke about the importance of maintaining and practicing the mother language in the USA. Happy to report our colleague, Councilman Udin's daughter, participated as well. She talked about Bengali and how she speaks Bengali to her relatives and keeping up with the traditions. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, and I'll be back in town for the next meeting.
That's great. At 5:40 in the morning, I'm usually trying to find out where I left my slippers the night before. You're doing great. And
I've been up since 4 a.m.
And I agree wholeheartedly with the keeping the mother tongue, the mother language, very important. Councilwoman Sheepa Udine.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. So I have a very short update as well. I had a virtual session early last week with the Center for American Women in Politics. And I was on the panel as a rising star to empower Asian American female to join office and just answer questions that general public might have had. Also to increase diversity initiative for women seeking deeper political engagement. So that was nice to meet with people that were just interested to learn about local government. We had a fire prevention meeting, but that was business as usual, nothing to report that required anything further. It was just a meeting that we went over a couple items. And then third, I also participated in an organization called Baudi, and it was for Ikushi February, which is like the 21st February International Mother Language Day event. And what I did was to give my reflections on my experience of motherhood during pandemic. That was their theme this year. So I was very proud to be on that panel discussion as well. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Wright, you with us?
Mr. Mayor, could you come right back to me? I lost my Black History Month person, and I'll be right back with you.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Pruitt.
Thank you, Mayor. So as Councilman Vasanella mentioned, we did have a public safety meeting. high level on that. There will be a presentation soon upcoming, looking back at 2021 from our police director, our public safety director, Quavella Mayweather. I did want to flag that the CRB, Community Relations Bureau, is partnering with community partners in May to do a bike helmet giveaway for children. So keep on the lookout for that. As well as their Citizens Academy. Applications are open until about the 16th, with the period starting on the 22nd. Don't want to report out too much on that because the public safety director will be coming to talk a lot about things when she does her presentation. I did want to take, I guess, a point of personal privilege and kind of acknowledging the passing of one of the members of our community who was actually involved in the Senior Advisory Council. We've actually, in the past couple of weeks, we've lost 2 members. So I wanted to acknowledge the lives of and the opportunity that I got to work with both of these individuals, Irene and Marie, who we've lost. So I just wanted to say publicly that I appreciated the ability to get to know them and work with them on the senior advisory board. And, you know, they have made an impact on my life, and I am very, very sad. But, you know, life goes on, and, you know, I just wanted to kind of put that out there and, you know, honor their memory however I could during my comments. I also wanted to kind of acknowledge something, and I don't know if Lou will fault me if I want to bring up something that has a little bit to do with the BPU, but he will jump in and quiet me, I'm sure, right, if I'm going astray. I do want to acknowledge to all the residents and flag that, you know, the moratorium for utility bills is ending. It's unlikely that it will be renewed again. So, you know, you will be contacted by your utility. There will be late notices, there'll be cutoff notices coming out. It ends on the 15th, March 15th. So I would encourage you, anyone who's listening, or anyone who has a family member, not even in Franklin, who had some trouble with their utility bills, to at this point really, really do reach out to your utility provider and get on a payment plan. The utilities are very keen on helping everyone out and connecting them with services to support them and help, like the Fresh Start program or the Light Heat program. But it's going to be really, really critical in these coming weeks to make outreach so you're not negatively impacted when those notices come out. Again, this is for any person, family, or friends across the state this might apply to. Please, please, please. There's so many funds and so many programs to assist you. Please don't hesitate to make that contact with your utility. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was something that Mr. Guy actually signaled to. So I know for many a resident, what happened in Bridgewater was both shocking, but considering the climate that we went through during the past couple of years, maybe not at all surprising. I know for many of us, Bridgewater Mall is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's probably one of the quickest malls that we can get to, depending on what side of the township that you live on. And I won't mince words, it was upsetting. I definitely reached out to, you know, our commissioner director, spoke with our public safety director on it. It is a open investigation, so not quite comfortable talking about my personal feelings on the matter, right, wrong, or indifferent, but I would say that, you know, for everyone who is watching, who felt triggered, who felt some kind of way, I see you, I'm there with you, I feel you. I am confident in the leadership of our commissioner director. I am very confident in our public safety director to take this incident and make it a training moment so it doesn't happen here. But I recognize that for any Black and brown parent who lets their kid go to the mall by themselves or anything like that, it was very shocking and upsetting. And I want to acknowledge your feelings and say that they're valid, but you know, we're here to make sure it doesn't happen here. So with that being said, I will give my time back to the meeting.
Councilman Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a hard time getting my phone to operate. This evening, history of Black America. Matthew Alexander Henson was an explorer accompanying Robert Perry on 7 voyages to Antarctica over a period number of 23 years. They spent a total of 18 years on expeditions together. He is best known for his participation in 1908 and 1909 expedition that claimed to reach the geographic North Pole on April 6, 1909. He's interred in the Arlington National Cemetery, and I should say reinterred because he was buried elsewhere, and they brought him as an honor into the Arlington National Cemetery. And I want to go down further, if you mind. The first Arctic expedition together was in 1891, 1892. Henson served as a navigator and craftsman and was known as Perry's first man. Like Perry, he studied Inuit and several techniques. Now, he also spoke a couple languages that allowed them to move further with guides and help. As a matter of fact, during the 1809, 1808, and 09 expedition to Greenland, Henson was one of 6 men, including Perry and 4 Inuit assistants, who claimed to have, oh, I lost that, give me 1 second, who have claimed hold on, I missed my spot, big fingers, what can I tell you? Along with Inuits to actually have moved further into Greenland than anyone else. Henson received a degree of fame as a result of participating in the expedition, and in 1912, he published a memoir titled A Negro Explorer at the North Pole. Now, my wife, just to make sure I had my information, checked it out, and it's a very big book. And I'm going to attempt to read it in total within the next 4 weeks. Now, I'm glad that I have Hulu from the Franklin Township Library that allows me to check books out on my computer, on my telephone, so I can read those during the day. I'm on the train for about hour and a half, so I get to read a lot. And this is something that I want to read. Now, moving on, I'm just going to give you the honors that he received because he has a lot of information there, but he was given a monument, a very huge monument at the Arlington National Cemetery for his life. He also has a school named after him. And in 1937, he was elected into the Explorers Club under the Polar Presidential Medal. And he was invited to join the highest ranks of this Explorers Club. Excuse me, but I have marbles in my mouth. During his lifetime, Henson was honored with a total of 43 medals, including one that recognized him as a Negro on the exposition in Chicago. The United States Navy named a cruiser that was used to break ice and expedition after him as an honorary gesture. Before his death, he received honorary degrees from Howard University and Morgan State University. On May 28, 1986, the United States Postal Service issued a 22-cent stamp in his honor. In 2000, the National Geographic Society awarded the Hubbard Medal to Matthew A. Henson posthumously. The medal was received by his great niece, Audrey Melbourne. Those are some of the awards he received. But he's also a forgotten one, because you always hear about Martin Luther King. You always hear about Malcolm X. You also hear about who else? Oh, Frederick Douglass. Everybody hears about Frederick. You hear about the same people every single year. You hear the same people, and no one takes the time to find out about people. Who was the first Navy pilot? Who was the first Marine? This black school teacher. Who was the first that teach college? Who was the first that went to Harvard? One of my fraternity brothers was one of the first in 1916 to go to Harvard. He studied at Boston University College of Theology, my alma mater. So there's a lot of things out there that off the mainstream we can find out about, but no one takes the time. We hear the biggies and we see them on calendars, they're on the wall. We pay homage to them, but let's not forget those that are small, according to other people. Let us go out and actually find out about our people, my people. And I think it's worthwhile. You get a knowledge and you get an appreciation. So with that, I'm going to end this, and I apologize for my speaking because I got marbles in my mouth this evening. But Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you. I have no committee reports. I'm sorry I wasn't short like everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. Kimberly, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Francois has indicated to me that she has no comments. She is on though. That leaves it to me to answer Mr. Guy's questions. I don't believe there are any COVID restrictions on businesses at the time, except unless you would count hospitals, which require masks still be worn. The municipal buildings still require masks to be worn. Those are the only restrictions I know of. As far as Franklin Day, my expectation is we will have it, but COVID is, if anything, unpredictable. So who knows? But that would be my expectation. Financial Oversight Committee, we met and we are working on the budget. The police budget was one of our main concerns. When the budget is released, the manager can correct me if I get this wrong, but right now it's the manager's budget. It's not the council's budget yet. When he submits it to us, we usually at the council meeting hit a button and put it up on the web. So you get it the same instant the council gets it in written form. Obviously, many of the council members, those on financial oversight, are already aware of many budget items. COVID numbers are dropping, and that's great. Please still be careful. I wear a double mask. Part of it's because I'm used to it from work, but I'm wearing a double mask when I'm out whenever I'm inside other than my home. And I did take the opportunity to call Archbishop Zelensky, who is the Archbishop of the Ukrainian center, church, etc., and that's in our town. They're really the head of the Ukrainian church for the United States, and I expressed our solidarity with them in this time of great stress for him and his countrymen, or home countrymen. I can't imagine what they're going through. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to further what you touched on regarding Mr. Guy's questions, I will answer a couple of them. Upcoming are budget hearings. Budget hearings are not the presentation of a budget, but rather the presentation of those budgetary requests from departments within the township government. That's a requirement of New Jersey law as it is part of our form of government. So that is why we have those budget hearings. As a result of those budget hearings, I, along with the finance officer, then finalize the budget as it is presented to council. And those are then, there are public hearings, much like an ordinance related to that budget introduction and adoption. So that's when the budget is presented to the public. The budget hearings are more of a workshop and an opportunity for the council members to hear from each individual department what their requests are for the annual budget. So hopefully that answers that question. As far as Mr. Guy's questions about the American Rescue Plan funds, which that's the funding that is now active. Those are not part of the municipal budget. So those would not be part of the discussions in the budget hearings. I mean, certainly it might come up in discussion, but nonetheless, they are not part of the municipal budget. The purpose of the budget hearings is to discuss the municipal budget and the water utility budget. Just a few things to report on. Furthering Deputy Mayor Pruitt's comments about utility bills. On our website is a link to public service programs that are available. Public service is strongly encouraging those who are behind in their bills to, as the deputy mayor stated, reach out and make an effort to go on a payment plan or take advantage of some of the programs that are available here in New Jersey for those who are having difficulty paying their utility bills. Also on our website is information about the New Jersey Earned Income Tax Credit. If you feel if your income level is on the lower side and you qualify, all of the information to apply for New Jersey Earned Income Tax Credit is available on the website. Additionally, if you're having a difficult time paying your mortgage or you're behind in your property taxes, there's a link to the Emergency Rescue Mortgage Assistance Program that is being operated by the state of New Jersey and funded by, my understanding, if anyone knows differently, please correct me. I believe that is American Rescue Plan funding that was distributed to all of the states for mortgage assistance. And then the last thing I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to is that Somerset County has a link for those who need assistance in preparing their income tax returns. That link as well is available on the homepage of the township website. And that's what I have tonight, Mr. Mayor. You're muted, Mr. Mayor.
I have one job. All right, on to the minutes. Well, council discussion items, there are none. Minutes. I present the following minutes to the Township Council for approval. The work session regular meeting of January 25th, 2022. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Anyone?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the minutes? Anyone have a correction? Madam Clerk, where are you? Oh, there you are.
I'm here. Councilman Embarrasson,
That was a very quiet yes, but he said yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Can you hear me? Yes?
Okay. Councilwoman Francois,
Yes, I just wanted to say I'm on vacation. I didn't think I'd be able to make this meeting, but I'm on now. Excuse my tardiness and lateness. Yes.
Mayor Kramer,
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Potasnik,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pruitt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine,
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella, Councilman Wright.
Lucy,
Councilman Vasanella, we couldn't hear you.
Carl, I'm here.
Councilman Vasanella? All right, give us a thumbs up. He gave us a thumbs up, so he votes yes.
I'm here.
He's working on his sound. And Councilwoman Francois, you can't get me more dressed up than a t-shirt on my vacation. So kudos to you.
I got on a t-shirt. It says
Oh,
Franklin
okay.
Warriors.
There you go. Always has Franklin in her heart.
Franklin Warriors in the house.
There you go. We're on to the approval of the warrants. This is how we pay our bills. Warrants in the amount of $14,143,264.42 on February 22nd, 2022 are presented to the Township Council for payment. Do we have a motion on the warrants?
I move that the warrants as read be paid.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone like to pull an item? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson, Councilwoman Francois,
Yes.
Mayor Kramer,
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Potasnik,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pruitt,
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine,
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella,
yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, happy 2/22/22 on Tuesday, everyone.
I know. Yes. 2.
We'll see you all in 200 years. There'll be another two in there. Okay. Item number 12. SFY 2022 Community Development Block Grant Program. I don't see that Miss Mitchell is,
I was just informed by Mr. McQueen that she's having difficulty getting in.
okay, so we will
Just
skip that.
called me and said she is close to getting in.
So we will skip that item number 12 for now and come back to it when she is in. Item number 13, Hamilton Street Special Improvement District Budget. Now I know why Vince Dominic's been on. I present the resolution 22-81, introduction of the calendar year 2022 Hamilton Street SID, which special improvement digit. This is, I need a motion to set the budget and budget hearing to the Township Council for consideration.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and it's my understanding there's no assessment this year.
That is correct.
Okay. Any other discussion on the Hamilton Street Special Improvement District?
No assessment or no change in assessment?
No assessment.
Are we setting a public hearing date?
That's correct.
March 22nd.
Okay, that wasn't on my script. March 22nd. Any other comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson? Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Petosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay. The reason I'm looking around so much is I'm looking for Deborah Mitchell on the listing. We're on to item number 14, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. Ordinance 4358-21, an ordinance releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public to a portion of a street known as Blair Avenue in the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey. It's presented for public hearing and final adoption. Public hearing is to be noticed. We have a motion to open to the public on this item.
So moved.
Seconded.
So there's a move and a second. All in favor of open public discussion, public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. We are open for public discussion on this item only. Same rules.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on this item, please use the chat function, raise hand feature, or *3 from your telephone. Again, any member from the public wishing to speak on this item, please use the chat function, raise hand feature, or *3 from your telephone.
Uh-oh.
Guy, you were unmuted.
Yes, real quick, I just want to clarify this this issue with the Blair Avenue. Is this just a parcel, or is this a full lot that's actually being partitioned for this release at this specific time frame? I didn't get the actual proper documentation in reference to it.
Not a lot at all. It's a paper street, so it's land that is right of way. It's not a building parcel. It's just would have been a street if a street had been built.
Okay, that's what I was clarifying. Yep, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Guy, if you could put your hand down.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I do not see anybody else indicating they would like to speak at this time.
Motion to close the public portion of the hearing on the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor of closing public portion on this ordinance, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Public session is closed. Do we have a motion on the item? Hello?
Move.
So moved.
Second. It keeps going off.
It's not hard. Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Strong work, Council. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
That's what I get from all.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Petosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
And I see Deborah Mitchell with a small typo is on. So we will go back to item number 12. Ms. Mitchell, CDBG. You're muted in case you're trying to talk.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm here to start the kickoff for the CDBG program for 2022. The township is a entitlement community under the Department of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And we receive annually from the federal government funds to assist us in with our low and moderate income residents who reside in Franklin Township. The township population exceeds 50,000, and that is the reason we received that designation and are able to get those funds separately from other communities in Somerset County. Last year, Franklin Township was awarded $271,864. At this time, we are not sure of the amount that we will receive for 2022 because the federal government's permanent budget for 2022 has not been approved. However, we are required by statute to proceed with the planning process for our upcoming grant year. Our grant year runs from September 1st, 2022 and ends August 31st, 2023. In order to meet the deadlines for the program, we have to start our planning process, and we're in the midst of the application period. We have posted on the internet and the township webpage the community block grant schedule for 2022. Applications were made available on the website starting February 7th. From February 2022 to March 2022, applicants can receive technical assistance from me if they have any questions about completing the application process. Applications are due March the 8th, 2022. And on March 22nd, 2022, I will be back to you to present any of the applications, and we have received their representatives will be able to attend the meeting and make comments to council regarding their application. From March up until May, I will be preparing the action plan, and it will be posted on the website effective May 1st. This is all contingent upon us at some point learning exactly what our grant amount will be. And if all things hold true, we'll be back to council on June the 28th, 2022 for approval of the action plan. We intend to submit in July, no later than August the 16th. That's the final deadline. So hopefully the money will have an idea of what we're going to receive and we'll be able to get it in early. The block grant program year will start September 1st, 2022 with the new planning items. At this time, we can, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor, to open it up to any comments or whatever from the public or from the council members.
Do I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
That's a moved in a second from
Second.
Councilwoman Edine and Councilman Ambasarian. Embarrassment. And all in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We're open to the public on this item only. Mr. McQueen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any member from the public wishing to speak on this item, we ask to use the chat function, raise hand feature, or *3 from your telephone. Again, any member from the public wishing to speak on this item, we ask to use the chat function, raise hand feature, or *3 from your telephone. Mr. Guy, you are unmuted.
Yes, how you doing? I wanted to ask Ms. Mitchell, based on the last perspectives for the last 2 years, for the approval for the community block grant, have you had any new entries or new entities that you actually approved over the last 2-3 years? That was one thing. And then the second portion, just from a logistical program standpoint, can you go through the approval process for the public just so that they understand how the process usually goes for approval for the community block grant?
Yes, we did approve new applicants. We approved the YMCA, which will be conducting a swim program for the kindergarten through 5th grade classes. That program is supposed to start soon. This will be the first time we're offering that service to the school system in conjunction with the school system, I should say, because Franklin is carrying part of the cost, and I understand the school board is partnering with the Y to increase the budget. As for the process, that is why we're having the public hearing on March the 22nd, so that the public is aware of all the applications that we have received during this planning period. All applications will be presented to the public if the applicant so chooses. It's not mandatory for an applicant to appear before council, but the application, its package itself is completed and returned to me. And in turn, council also is apprised of who the applicants are prior to that meeting. Once they have submitted their prospective applications, they are reviewed in-house and then forwarded to council, the finance committee for review. And then a draft action plan is posted on the internet, on the township website for comments. The 30-day notice will be posted in the newspaper. It's posted in the Courier Post, in the Desi Talk, and in the Latin newspaper for the public to be notified that they can make comments on the draft plan. Once the draft plan 30-day period is completed, the action plan is then finalized with any comments and turned into council for a vote.
Thank you. Any council questions? Madam Clerk, there's no vote on this, correct?
Correct.
Right.
You need to close the public hearing.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Do we have a motion to close? I see no one else with their hand up. Do we have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of closing the public, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Public session on this item is closed. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you.
Already done Hamilton Street, the second reading. There are no ordinances on first reading. We are on to the consent agenda. Items A through P as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
Through P.
Second.
Have a second.
Second,
All in favor? I'm sorry. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Anyone want to pull an item to be voted on separately or discussed? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson? Councilwoman Francois?
yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Chaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Batosnik?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
There are no resolutions to be voted on separately. Old business boards, committees, commissions, vacancies. Anyone have a nomination?
Yes, Mayor, I have one nomination. It's Christopher Ganga of Dogwood Lane for the Trails Advisory Committee. He was recommended by the chair, Vanessa Jones, to apply and was approached. He has a strong background in environmentalism in that he's an outdoors person, a bicyclist, and working on right now keeping Middlesex moving and safe schools routes coordinator. And he's someone that I had a chance to meet over the last year that I would recommend for this position. It's a 4-year term. It expires December 31st, 2023. That doesn't really
okay,
make
yep.
sense to me. I
Yep.
guess it was been vacant for 2 years, so that's where the math comes from.
Yep. Anyone else have a nomination for that position? Seeing none, we can do it by acclamation. All in favor of Christopher, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Christopher. Any other nominations for other positions?
I did have a question. I thought there was a vacancy on open space or ag. Clerk McCarthy, is that wrong? Did I get that wrong?
The only vacancies are the ones that are listed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see any of either of those listed.
Yeah.
Any other nominations?